Beyond the edge of the world lies the home of the dragons. It's your destiny to one day find this hidden world.
I wanted to ask you first to kind of bridge the gap between the two movies, because it's been over 4 years. How does the conclusion of the second film kind of change the dynamics between the characters in this one?
I suppose the primary change is that Hiccup has now stepped into the role of chief. He now has the responsibility of looking after all of the people and dragons of Berk. Toothless, in defeating Drago's Bewilderbeast at the end of the second movie, is now the alpha. And so he lords over this massive flock. So they are sitting ducks in a way. They've got this overcrowded island full of dragons and people. They're in the sights of their enemies.
And the way of life on Berk that Hiccup has fought tooth and nail to create and preserve is under great threat. And it forces a bit of an existential crisis on Hiccup, because he's forced to ask himself if this paradise that he's fought for is the best thing for everybody.
For my character, I think it's such a big deal that Hiccup now is chief, whereas, they were sort of buds, equals in the fight. Like, he's now the chief. And yet their relationship is still quite unchanged, with the role that she's always played in reminding him who he is, reminding him what makes him strong and brave, and also leading in her own way.
It's more like a bright
A light fury.
Yeah, yours is better.
Gobber begins the first movie as someone who's prejudiced against dragons. And through the influence of the young people and the new generation in Berk, he learns that his old prejudices are mistaken. And it was one of the things I love about this movie, that the dialogue is informed by the youthful characters of the movie, not by the older characters. And I love that.
If Grimwell succeeds, there won't be any dragons left. And it's up to us to put an end to it.
So, what are you gonna do about it?
What I love about both of the relationship between your characters is how effortless the relationship seems.
Oh, cool. I guess I'd like to think that speaks to the work we put in on establishing these characters in the first and second film, that we kind of know how they relate to one another. And I agree. I think it feels like a real relationship, which is rare in a cartoon.
And there's no melodrama between.
No.
Which is what I love. I love that, in a way, like, you feel their relationship evolving, but the story was never a love story. And it was never about, will they, won't they? Right. I love that Dean didn't go that route, which is often the lowest hanging fruit.
The hidden world, it really does exist.
Now that's a king.
You're right, bud. It's time.
I know you said that this is the end of the trilogy, but is there I could kind of see a little hint that there could be another, because it is a hopeful ending.
Yeah, we definitely wanted it to feel hopeful, but also conclusive. And I think what we tried to do was deliver a satisfying ending that ultimately meant that Hiccup and Toothless would go their separate ways, but also reassure the audience that it was for the best, that we see them thrive in their adulthood.
First of all, I'm in denial about that this is the end of the movies. I don't think it is. But is there anything I feel like that missed? No, I don't think of it like that. Dean's authorship of these movies is complete to me. As a performer, this world belongs to him, and I go there and I take his guidance.
For me, it's a satisfying end, and that was the intention, to really kind of bring it back to the disappearance of dragons and having them kind of fall away into legend. I think if DreamWorks wanted to open it up again at some point, I would hope that it would be a different timeline with different characters.
Come on, bud! It's you and me, bud. Always. Oh my God. He's not the only one.
She's a light fury.
But I ain't got wings